Hello and welcome. I am so glad you joined me today for this journey. If you are the parent of an autistic child, an educator, a researcher, a professional, or simply someone trying to better understand autism, I am glad you are here. This channel was created not only to share the story of one child, but also the story of a family, a parent, and a journey to find understanding. To protect our privacy, I will refer to my son as Rob. While his real name is different, the experiences, lessons, challenges, and successes I share are all real. Rob is an autistic child. He is intelligent, curious, determined, and full of surprises. Like many autistic children, he does not fit neatly into the assumptions and stereotypes people often have about autism. Every day, he teaches me something new about communication, learning, resilience, and how differently people can experience the world. I am not a doctor, therapist, or psychologist. I am a mother. I am also a technology professional, an entrepreneur, and someone who has spent years observing, researching, documenting, and trying to understand autism. I have spent years navigating through schools, therapies, support systems, and everyday life. Over the years, I have asked myself many questions. Why do some children thrive in one environment while struggling in another? Why do educational systems focus more on children's deficits than their strengths? Why do so many families feel alone, exhausted, and unheard? And perhaps most importantly, how can we create a world where autistic individuals are understood, respected, and able to reach their full potential? This channel is part of my effort to explore those questions. Here I will share real life experiences, observations, challenges, successes, and the lessons we have learned along the way. Some videos will focus on parenting, others will focus on education, inclusion, therapies, communication, emotional regulation, and the everyday realities of raising an autistic child. I also hope this space becomes a supportive community, a place where families can learn from one another, where educators and researchers can hear real life experiences, and where honest conversations can take place. This channel does not claim to have all the answers. It simply aims to ask better questions, share experiences honestly, and most importantly, learn together. Because autism is not a single story. Every autistic individual is unique. Every family is unique. Every journey is different. Today, more families than ever are encountering autism. About 20 years ago, autism was identified in approximately 1 in 150 children. Today, that number has risen to about 1 in 31 children. This is not just a statistic, it represents a profound change that affects every school, every neighborhood, and nearly every family. That is why access to accurate information, shared experiences, and mutual support has never been more important. I hope that through our story, other people will feel a little less alone, a little more understood, and a little more hopeful about the future. If you are watching this video, chances are you are standing in a place that feels familiar. Maybe you noticed that your child was not responding to their name. I was there too. After Rob turned 1 year old, I began noticing certain things. He had an extraordinary memory, yet he would not even respond to his name. He seemed disconnected. Following medical referrals, we went to Stanford. Comprehensive evaluations began at Zuckerberg Hospital. After 3 years, Rob received an autism diagnosis. Our doctor told us something very clearly. For these children, time is the most critical factor. The earlier they receive support, the further they can go. That terrified me. We had already waited 3 years. The public system was only able to provide a handful of speech therapy sessions. Private therapy options in San Francisco existed, but the costs were overwhelming. Time was passing. So I made a decision to remain under the care of doctors I trusted and to be closer to family support. We moved to Turkey. Family support was invaluable. Rob received speech therapy, hippotherapy, special education support, and attended a wonderful school. But I also faced a difficult reality. A large private market had emerged around autism services. Government support was limited and Rob began to regress. I had to come back. I researched 6 states and eventually moved to Maryland. But school became another challenge. There were 23 students in the classroom, and the number kept increasing. There was only one teacher and one teaching assistant. The special education coordinator looked me in the eye and said, "Your child will never be normal." I experienced discrimination, and it was not the first time, nor would it be the last. They kept explaining why my son was not like other children. I was trying to explain who my son was, because my definition of normal was my son, Rob. They saw the diagnosis. I saw my child. I then moved to New York. The educational system was genuinely strong, but we could not find the right school for Rob. I was told I would need to wait nearly 2 months for transportation services. I could have lost my job, so I requested a transfer to Arizona. And Arizona surprised me. The school in Scottsdale, Arizona was remarkable. They evaluated Rob based on his individual needs. He was placed in a blended system where he could learn at his own level. They started speech therapy in summer school without me having to ask. They genuinely worked to prepare him for first grade. In Maryland, I was sending 2 or 3 emails a day. In Arizona, I communicated only 4 or 5 times a semester. Everything was already working. So many different countries, states, and cities. Yet they all had one thing in common. Families were often left on their own. They did not know their rights. They became lost in the system. And instead of focusing on children's strengths, the conversation was almost always about their challenges. That is why I am here. Because today Rob is 6 years old, and if someone had told me years ago what he would be able to do today, I probably would not have believed them. We came a long way. Throughout this journey, we have done some things right and some things wrong. I will share everything that may help another family. Rob taught me things that many experts never did. What worked, what did not work, and how we got here. I feel a responsibility to share that knowledge. On this channel, I will provide practical information. What happens after a diagnosis? What rights do families have? How do the systems in Turkey and the United States actually work? I will share everything we have learned together. In future videos, I will also talk about the school system I dream of creating for children like Rob, where technology, robotics, and nature exist side by side. And remember, we are one. Even if we live in different cities, different countries, and different systems, we share many of the same hopes, fears, and dreams. For the future of our children, we need to listen to one another, learn from one another, and walk this path together. Please share your questions and experiences in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join our community. This is not just my story, this is our voice.